All right, so I'm not gonna spend too long on this aspect here because I also had another video which you could see where I talk about the Sabbath having 12 hours and everything of that nature in the past. I'm wearing like a cardigan type of shirt in there if you could find on out there. But I do want to read talking about the Sabbath a little bit. Let's talk about one of the earliest accounts in Scripture where we see the observance of the Shabbat more. Um, and that is in Exodus 16, right? One of the earliest accounts where we get some dates and things that line it up with the Sabbath. So we see here in Exodus chapter 16, verse 1, and I'm going to jump around a bit. Like I said, I kind of broke this down already, but it says, "And they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Yasharal came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th Yom, or the 15th day, the 15th day of the second month after they're going out on the land of Mitzrayim." Or so they are after coming out of the land of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, where many believe we get the word misery from, but Egypt, they're coming out that land, right, on the 15th day of the second month. All right. And this day, as we know it to be a Shabbat. Okay. How do we know? Well, if we jump down, and I advise you to read this whole chapter, of course, but for time's sake, we jump down to verse 23, and this is where it gets interesting. Well, I'll read verse 21, and then we'll go down. It says, "And they gathered it every morning, each one according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted." They're talking about what they're gathering, for the Shabbat. "And it came to be on the sixth day that they gathered twice as much bread," right? It's the day of prep. We already taught the 15th. On the sixth day, right? That's the last day of prep, that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe or Moses in 23, and he said to them, "This is what Yahuwah has said. Tomorrow is a rest, a Shabbat set apart to Yahuwah," or Yahuwah, right? So he says tomorrow is a day of rest, right? That which you bake, bake. And that which you cook, and lay for yourselves all that is left over to keep it until morning. He didn't say that evening. He said until tomorrow, for tomorrow is a Sabbath, right? "And lay up for yourselves all that is left and keep it until morning." 24 of Exodus chapter 16, verse 24. "And they laid it up till morning as Moshe commanded, and it did not stink, no worms was in it. And Moshe said, 'Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to Yahuwah. Today you do not find it in the fields.'" Right? 26. "Gather it in 6 yomim, or days, but on the 7th yom, or day, which is the Shabbat, there is none. And it came to be that some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather, but they found none. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, 'How long shall you refuse to guard my commandments and my Torah?' And he got on them," right? The rest of them. But the emphasis I want to have there is highlighting the day, that in the time period of the day when they decided to consider the Shabbat. He says in the morning. Don't eat it until morning. And some people still went out and went to do their own thing, right? Even talking about earlier, John chapter 11, verse 9, where Yahusha says, the Messiah says, how many hours in a day? He breaks that down for us, okay? So we see that they went there on the 15th, and then 6 days later, that would have been the 22nd day, right? The third Shabbat, okay? Now, I want to also read Leviticus, because Leviticus is where a lot of the confusion comes. A lot of people believe, Leviticus talking about, the Sabbath and everything of that nature. We get it confused, and that's why we oftentimes miss the understanding of the ancient Hebrews, our forefathers, and the patriarchs before us, how they understood a day and how they understood the Sabbath, okay? So that's what we're going to break down as of right now, okay?